So today we're going to take a look at Google Classroom. You will see that I have navigated to classroom.google.com, and when I get there I have one classroom already set up. Let's say that you see a classroom that is old or one that you don't want. If you click on these three dots, you can archive it, which will save the class in a different area so you can access it later, but it will remove it so you only see the classrooms you want when you log in as the teacher. So if you want to remove a class, you would go to Archive. You can also rename your class at any time. So if you need to create a class, you're going to come up here to the plus sign and you are going to hit Create Class. If you were to join a class for any reason, you would of course just hit Join Class and enter the code. So when you create a class, it's going to ask you to name your class. It's going to ask you if you want to give it an optional section name. So you can go ahead and do that. So what I have over here is the training classroom, and we're going to go ahead and go in. Up here at the top, you're going to see the background. If you want to change the theme, you can select theme, and Google has a bunch of pre-made ones for you, or you can upload your own. I wanted to wait to do this video because they have changed Classroom for this September, and I wanted to show you some of the changes. Down here toward the bottom, this is how you're going to create things in the class. So if I come down here to the plus sign, you see I have the option to reuse a post. So if I post something and I want to reuse it, I can do that. I can create a question, which is brand new. I can now ask a question and kids can respond in Classroom and answer my question. But the two most popular are create assignment and create announcement. And we'll take a look at create announcement first. So I click on Create Announcement, and this might be something like, don't forget to bring in paint for the project tomorrow. So announcements are just that, something that you want kids to know, or something that you want to share with them. And you can see that you can upload a file, you can attach a file from Drive, you can add a YouTube video, or you can add a link. And when you're ready to post that to the stream, you can by hitting post. You can also save it for later. So let's say you want to make a couple announcements but you don't want to post them right away. You can actually save them as a draft. So I'm going to go ahead and post this. And you'll see this has popped up in the stream and students can now see this. If I need to edit it, again I come over to the three dots, I can edit it, I can delete it, or this is new, which is super handy, move to top. Classroom kind of works like a Facebook feed, so everything that you post pushes the previous post down. So let's say that you want to move something back to the top, you would hit the move to top button and it would move the announcement or the assignment back to the top. So that's pretty handy to know. So you got move to top, edit, and delete. You can also comment as the teacher. So if I comment, I could do that as well. So here's what's important though. This stream is set up so that teachers and students can both make announcements and post comments, and that could get really frustrating really quickly. So one thing I want to show you is coming over here to the student section. This pull down menu over here, students can post and comment, because we're talking about the stream here. Students can post and comment, students can only comment, only teacher can post or comment. I usually set this to only teacher can post or comment, and if I want my students to comment, then I'll come over here and I'll deliberately change this and I'll allow students to make their comments, like if they wanted to answer a question or they wanted to ask a question, or maybe I had an assignment, I would let them ask a question when they were at home. But when I'm done, I would go back to only teacher. So that's how you can control who can post in the stream. And so the stream can be overwhelming because it kind of acts like a giant chat window. But what you can also do is, let's say that we have a teacher. Let's say that one of these students here was abusing the stream, but you wanted the rest of the class to be able to use it. If I select the student and I go to Actions, I can mute them, which means they themselves are not allowed to post on the stream. Everybody else can, but they can't, so I can mute them. While we're on the student screen, you will see that you have all of your students viewable here. In the Actions menu, you can remove a student if you need to. You can also email a student if you want to. And even though our students might not have emails, I am fairly positive that that will send them a message. I actually haven't tried it, but you should be able to contact them. I can also invite individual people, so if I wanted to invite somebody to the class, a student who's having trouble, that's how I can do that. So let's go back into the stream. I'm going to delete this announcement, just like that. And you'll notice it doesn't show up because I deleted it. However, if I click this button over here, Show Deleted Items, anything that I have deleted will pop back up. So if you deleted something and you want to get it back, that's how you would do that. And also, this is the class code down here. Right now, the easiest way to have students join your class is to just write this on the board and have them go to classroom.google.com, or even better, have a link to the Google Classroom on your Google site, and so when they click on it, they will be prompted to enter the class code, and you can see it here. If I use this pull-down menu, I can change the class code, and I can also disable it. So if I have 25 kids in a class and all 25 kids are logged in the classroom, you might want to disable the class code so nobody else can join. And anytime you have any questions, over on the left you have the question mark, and it'll show you what's new. You can send feedback, ask a question, or get help. So let's go over to the plus sign and let's create an assignment. When I create an assignment, I have to give it a name. I find it really helpful to start with a number, because sometimes, again, the stream will push things down to the bottom, so it's really easy to refer to a student instead of saying, oh, go to assignment, essay, thesis. It can be hard to find. So I like to number them, so I might do 001, and of course the next one would be 002. Here I can add a description of the assignment. Please read the directions and ask me if you have any questions. I can have a due date. So you notice, first of all, new features, I can turn off the due date. So if I don't want to have a due date, I can disable it. If I want to have a due date, I could go ahead and change it by clicking on the calendar. So right now, September 3rd, if I click on the calendar, I'm going to make it September 10th. And I can also set a time, and I want that, let's say, 8 p.m. So if they hand it in after 8 p.m., they will be late. And then I can go ahead and save that, and I can assign that to the stream. And so that's how I can add things for the kids. When I jump over to this menu, it will let me know that I have 0 out of 12 students done. And as they hand it in, they will, this will change, of course, to let you know how many. And it shows you individually who has done what. And if you need to, you can drill down and look at just what's not done, or just who has done, or all of them. I can change how many points. I can make it 1 point, 20 points, 50, 100, ungraded. Or I believe I can even enter my own. So if I want to make this maybe 4 points, because we're using standard-based grading, so 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of lining up with our standards, that's how you change what you want it to be. And you could change it anytime you want. So we'll just go back to 100 for now. You could even make it ungraded like you saw. And here's the instructions, right? So again, I've drilled down into assignments. So if I go back and I'm in the stream, or as a teacher, I can go into this setup menu over here, classroom main menu. If I click on this, I can either navigate back to all my classes, or I can go and see the assignments. And so again, and especially if you look at this feature, if you have, say, 5 Google Classrooms, this will show you all your assignments. Again, the 3 dots will allow you to, finish grading that if you wanted to. If I drill down into this again, I'm back to that same screen. I could download the assignments, and I can also download all the grades. This is handy for putting things into PowerSchool. So if I click download all grades, it will download it as a CSV, as you can see there on the bottom, and then all you would need to do is upload that CSV into PowerSchool, and it will copy their names, the assignments and grades and all that stuff. So that's really handy too. And you could download, this one would download it to your Google Drive, I believe. So I bounce over, If I need to make a comment or students need to comment, I can do that. So one of our students has completed their essay thesis assignment, and let's walk through what that looks like for the teacher. First, we see that Pauline has said that she has no questions. Their directions are very clear, and we see that 1 is done with the assignment while 12 are not. The first thing I can do, if you look at Pauline's comment, I can delete it or I can mute her. So again, if she was causing trouble in the stream, which she's been known to do, you can just mute her and then she can't talk, or if she posts something inappropriate, you can just delete her comment. So let's go into the assignment, and you will see done right now is Pauline, not done is everybody else. And you can also see over here on the right hand side Pauline's name along with her assignment, because she is done. And again, you can filter that by going to done, and then we'll see it's just Pauline, and not done is everybody else, or we can leave it set to all. So let's see how Pauline did. I can click on her name, and I can see, first of all, her submission history. When she submitted it, and if I were to hand this back, which I'll show you in a minute, and she redoes it and resubmits it, you would see all of that here in the submission history. And I've not given her a grade yet, so let's see how she did. I click on her assignment, and Pauline attached her Google Doc here through her Google Drive. And we can see a lot of fun stuff, and I know this doesn't have to do with classroom, but it's always kind of fun to see. If I were to use Kaizena, I can actually leave Pauline a voice comment on her assignment that she would be able to hear my voice. So it's not voice to text, it's actually, audio comments. Another add-on that you could put into Drive if you wanted to, or Google Docs I should say, you'll see up here I have something called Draftback. If I play Draftback, I can actually watch Pauline write her paper in real time, and that's called Draftback. And so the way you add some of these things, if I go to add-ons, I go to get add-ons, and I type in Kaizena, you can install Kaizena. So you'll see Kaizena. I already have it, but you would just click on the blue free button, you can add it, and that's how you can leave voice comments. Or if I was to open and I would put Draftback for Google Docs, there's Draftback again in the Chrome store, and you guys can install that. I already have it. But that's how you can watch your students write in real time and leave them voice comments. So that's just a little fun aside I thought I'd throw in. So I'm assessing Pauline's writing. Her thesis is done. We're good to go. So when I want to grade this, I come back in, and I can see, that it's not currently graded. So I can add a grade to Pauline, and let's give her 100 out of 100. You'll see that it's saved, but I have not returned it. I go to return the completed, and student will be notified and can check any grade you've left. Hit return, and then I've handed Pauline back her work. You can see down here toward the bottom, I can add a private comment. So this is how I can leave feedback that only Pauline can see. So I graded her assignment, I handed back her assignment, I'm going to leave her a private comment that says, "Great job," and I'm going to post it, and that is only seen by Pauline, and Pauline can send me a private comment, and so we can have a private conversation about a document right through this submission. And then again, I could edit and delete it. So, looking at that workflow one more time, I see 1 is done. I would click on the assignment. I can see over here Pauline is done. If I click on Pauline's name, here's whatever she turned in, whether it's a video, a Google slide, whether it's a Google Doc, or anything else, it'll be right here. I can click on it. I can check it out. I could be a rock star and leave audio comments with Kaizena. I could, use Draftback to check out what's been going on. And if I jump back in, I can give her her grade, and then I can return her work for her. So it's pretty neat, and I can leave her some comments. Another really handy thing to do is to come up to the menu and go down to Settings. So by default, Google is going to send you an email every time a student asks a question or submits a comment, and every time they hand in an assignment. And so that can really start to clog your inbox. So if you come over to this menu and down to settings, you can deselect send email notifications. So I always turn that off because I don't want an email every time a student makes a comment or hands in an assignment. Also in the settings menu, we archived classes earlier. This is how you can archive your, this is how you can access your old archived classes. Another place to take a look is the About page. If I go to the About page, first of all, you'll notice that it will link me to the Google folder in my Drive, where all of the assignments and files are going to be. So when you create a classroom in Google Drive, when you create a Google Classroom, a folder structure is automatically set up in Google Drive. So if I click on this, you'll see that it'll take me to my Google Drive, and so the classroom is called Training Classroom, and here's some previous assignments that students have handed in. And this is really helpful to check because sometimes students will say, oh, I handed that in, or I'm not sure if I handed that in. And one way to double check, in case it doesn't show up in the assignments area, is to just click on the folder, and you can take a peek inside the folders and find who did what assignment. You can see their name, and everything's automatically shared with you, because when a kid completes an assignment, it is turned over to you, the teacher, and they can no longer edit it. You, the teacher, would grade it, and then you would hand it back to them, and they would not get their editing rights back. So that's how you can check out the folder structure. Other things you could do is you can add some materials. So if you want to add links that the students might use all year, or link to your YouTube channel, this can be, you can add a lot of nice things to the About page. So don't be afraid to play around with that and add some stuff. Calendar, link to a calendar. Even though a calendar is going to be automatically generated in Classroom sometime in the next week, it'll automatically make a calendar for you to share with kids and stuff like that. So that's pretty handy to have. Another really nice feature is what you see over here. This extension is called Add to Classroom. And let's say that I go to CNN.com and I find a really interesting article that I want to share with my kids. I can share this directly to the classroom through using that extension. So this is an article about North Korea, and I really want my kids to check it out. So I'm going to click on Add to Classroom. I'm going to click on the classroom icon. And this pop-up window is going to ask me, what classroom do I want to share this article to? So I'm going to go to Training Classroom, and how do I want to share this with them? Do I want to create an assignment or make an announcement? So I'm going to pick Announcement.
North Korea loves to...
Relax, North Korea. So I'm going to make an announcement, and I'm going to select Go. And so the link has been shared. I'm going to say, class, check out this article and leave a comment below. So I'm going to go ahead and I can post it now, or again I can save it as a draft. So I'm going to post it. And you have posted to your classroom. So if I go back to the classroom and I refresh it, you'll see that the announcement has been added from the extension. And the way that you get that is you go to the Chrome store. So I like to just go add to Classroom extension, and you'll see it'll take you to the Chrome store, which is chrome.google.com. And when I click on this, it'll ask me if I want to install it. You can see up here on the top right, it already says added to Chrome. Yours is going to be a little blue bar that says add to Chrome, and you would just click that and give it the permissions that it needs, and it will live right here and makes it really easy for you to share things that you find on the web with your students. In the About section, if you would like to add a co-teacher, in the About section over here on the left, you will see Invite Teacher. And then you could add somebody that you want to make your co-teacher, and they will have all of the rights and privileges that you do as the teacher. So they can make announcements, they can post announcements, they can create assignments, grade assignments, and everything that you can do, your co-teacher can do, and that's done by inviting a teacher down here. So going back to the plus sign, we went over create an assignment, we went over create an announcement. Let's take a look at create a question. The create a question allows you to ask a question for to check for understanding or whole class discussion. And like an announcement, it'll go in the stream, but like an assignment, you can grade it and see who did or did not answer the question, as well as set a due date and stuff like that. What was your favorite part of the movie? And I can add some descriptions if I want to the question. I can make a due date if I want, and then of course down here I can add a link, YouTube video, Google Drive, or an attachment. And again, I can post it right now, or I can save it for later. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ask my question, and it's going to ask me, do I want students to see and reply to each other's answers, and do I want them to be able to edit their answer once they submit it? So I'm going to leave it as it is, and I'm going to ask the question. You see it pops right up in the stream, and students would comment either in that part of the stream, or just like an assignment, you would be able to see who had done what in the student answers area of the question. And if you need to edit or delete or move to the top, those are right there in the 3 dots. If we go back to the plus sign, I can reuse a post. So I'm going to select reuse a post, and I can get a post from any archived class, or I can get it from any one of the classrooms that I've created. So if I go into this archived class, if there was a post here, I could drag that stuff out. So if you have an assignment from another class, because it's not just announcements, but if you have an assignment from another class, an archived class, if I go into training classroom and I select this, you will see that I can pull out anything that I have asked before. So let's say I wanted to reuse this assignment. I'm going to go to reuse, and it's going to double check, do I want to change anything? I'm going to leave it as it is, and I'm going to hit assign. And now, so we have essay 1, and it's down here. So obviously, we wouldn't do the same assignment more than once. But the nice thing is, if you have used an assignment before, that's a way that you can reuse it to make your life a little bit easier. So that's pretty much the basics of Google Classroom. Hopefully you guys will continue to use it because I really think it's effective for getting the most out of our students. Don't forget about the add-on. And also that Google Classroom has an app for the iPhone, the Android, and the iPad. So you can grade on the mobile. You can. It's really easy to take pictures and videos and add them that way. But that's really cool too. So don't be afraid to go into the App Store on iOS or the Chrome Store on Android and download the Google Classroom apps. They're really pretty good, and even kids can use them too. Otherwise, thanks for checking it out.